Well, if you're not new to my channel, you already know how much we love to go out camping, RVing more specifically. And if you are new to my channel, then you have definitely found the right channel. So go ahead and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button because I do a ton of camping and RV cooking recipes. And today we are going to do one of my very, very favorite recipes for a camping dinner. And that is quick and easy ground beef shepherd's pie. The reason I love this is number one, it's super easy and delicious. And number two, you can make it ahead, freeze it, and then thaw it out and serve it when you're out camping, and then you are not stuck in your RV kitchen half the day whipping out dinner. Welcome to the Spicy Apron Cooking Show. My name is Heather, and I have been camping and RVing for years and love it, and it is one of my specialties. So let's start off to make this ground beef shepherd's pie with making the mashed potatoes that are going to go on top. Now, I am choosing to make them in my pressure cooker. You guys know how much I love my pressure cooker. I've got a link below to a free PDF download for you. It's got my top 10 pressure cooker recipes. This one is not in it because we're only doing the mashed potatoes in it. But I choose to do it in the pressure cooker because it's easier, but you're certainly welcome to do it on your cooktop. Just cook them for 20 minutes instead of 7. And then they'll be just as good. So what I have here is about 3 pounds of potatoes, roughly 5 or 6 large potatoes cut into big chunks. Just dump them into your pressure cooker. And then just like you have to do with all pressure cooked recipes, you do need to add some water. I am doing about 3/4 of a cup, which is the least amount that I feel comfortable putting in here to make sure it comes to pressure. It is necessary to put in the liquid to form that steam and make it come to pressure without getting that burn notification. So 3/4 of a cup of water. You can put a full cup, but then your potatoes might be just a little watery. So do as much as you are comfortable doing. And of course, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. The full recipe to this make ahead, freeze ahead shepherd's pie is down below. It is a link. It goes to my blog, thespicyapron.com. And now some fresh ground pepper. Okay, all you're gonna do is pressure cook these on high for 7 minutes. Again, if you're doing them on the cooktop, go ahead and put your potatoes in your pot, fill it with water to about 1 inch on top of your potatoes, and simmer them for about 20 minutes. Okay, potatoes are done here. If you're doing them on your cooktop, just drain them and put them back into the pot so we can mash them up. These are perfect, as they always are in a pressure cooker. Okay, all I'm going to do is keep it really simple. I will add 4 tablespoons of butter and 1/2 cup of cream and 1/2 cup of whole milk. You can certainly do all whole milk if you prefer. You can even do skim milk if you want. They just won't be quite as creamy that way, but they'll still taste great. And I'm gonna go ahead and blend them up right in my pot. Now, please note that this is the stainless steel pot, not the non-stick pot. You don't want to have a problem with that. Now, while I'm blending these, I want you guys to know I did just move last week and I have not figured out my overhead camera yet. So I'm trying to figure that out. In the meantime, I will have to lift these up for you when I'm done. I'm gonna see if I can lift them up for this camera over here. That might work. At least you can see how perfect they are. Okay, those are whipped and perfect. I'll at least scoop them up so you can see perfectly whipped homemade mashed potatoes. You certainly can use box mashed potatoes as well, but honestly, there's nothing like real mashed potatoes. I do like to leave a little bit of the lumps in there so you know that they are homemade. Now, set this aside and we are going to make the rest of the dish because these potatoes go on top. Now, I am filming this right when all of us are probably in the midst of having to stay at home because of that god-awful coronavirus problem. So while that's going on, as I mentioned, we also moved into a new house, so it has been a little bit challenging, but the good news is I did find most of the ingredients that I needed. Ground beef is a little hard to come by these days, but I did get some. So let's make what is going in the bottom of your dish. And by the way, if you are stuck at home, please comment below with the first place you were gonna go camping when you can finally go somewhere. Okay, let's go ahead and cook this ground beef. Put a little olive oil in your hot pan. And first I'm going to saute some onions. There is a link to the full recipe below at thespicyapron.com. Now you want to saute this onion until it is just beginning to get soft, and then we're going to add the other stuff to it. Okay, once your onions have started to soften, then whoops, and there goes my Worcestershire sauce, so I'll have to get more of that. To your onions, go ahead and add 2 pounds of ground beef. This dish will comfortably feed 8 people. Okay, so you want to cook the ground beef until it is cooked through and no longer pink. That should take about 6 to 8 minutes. Make sure it's nice and crumbled up and no longer pink, and then we will add the rest. First, that Worcestershire sauce that I knocked over before. Thank goodness I had more, guys. That is the end of my Worcestershire sauce. And some Italian seasoning to add it a little bit more flavor. Stir that all together with the ground beef because you really want that ground beef soaking up those flavors. And then after that, you're gonna add a half a cup of beef broth. Stir that all together and add your choice of whatever mixed frozen veggies you like. These are thawed out, but they're still cold, so I'm gonna heat them through with the ground beef. That was another thing that was hard to find, frozen vegetables. I don't often cook with them, but with everybody stocking up their pantries and freezers right now, I figured I should grab a bunch, and this was all I could find. 1 bag of peas and 1 bag of corn. So that's what we're having in this one. Now just stir it until it is all heated through. This is going to be the bottom layer of our shepherd's pie. Now, usually when I make this meal, it is because we're gonna go camping, and I make it and I freeze it and then I thaw it out and reheat it at the campsite. I use our camp oven to reheat it. I have also done it on a grill that has a lid to reheat it. When I'm doing it that way, I definitely use an aluminum foil disposable pan because it's a lot easier to clean up when you're out camping. Today, I'm going to do it in a glass dish so you can see it. I did this other video up here with one of my very favorite recipes, loaded baked potato casserole with chicken. And a lot of people commented that, well, you didn't show us the final dish once it was cooked, because on that video, I did the same thing. I put it into an aluminum foil and I just said, okay, now freeze it and then reheat it. And people got a little bit annoyed that they didn't see the finished dish. So today you are going to see the final dish of this wonderful, tasty, and hearty shepherd's pie. Okay, when your beef and veggies are all heated through, then pour it into whatever pan you're using. Again, if you're gonna take it camping, use aluminum foil if you wish, or put it in just a regular baking dish, which is what I'm doing. Go ahead and pour that in, and then we are going to top it with those fabulous homemade mashed potatoes. Okay, spread the beef mixture into 1 layer. You might want to add a little bit more salt and pepper at this point. Also make sure to taste your potatoes to see if they have enough salt and pepper in them, and if not, add it and then put the potatoes on top. Now, adding the potatoes, there's a little bit of a trick to it. You want to do it in dollops or spoonfuls, and then at the end, you're going to spread it with a fork to get it nice and even. Okay, so pick up those potatoes and just kind of plop them on 1 spoonful at a time, and then we'll spread them together. Okay, when all of your potatoes are in there, you could save just a little bit on the side for yourself to nibble on, like I do sometimes. Don't tell anyone. All right, now let's go ahead and spread it out with a fork. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick to make the finished product look perfect. You do want it to be a fairly even layer so it heats up evenly after when you're reheating it when you're camping or when you're reheating it for dinner. Okay, so that's a pretty even layer right there. But what you want to do is go with a fork and make some peaks and some valleys, because then when it heats up in the oven, it'll get a little bit of brown peaks on the top and it just looks beautiful that way. Okay, so at this point, if you're making it ahead and freezing it, go ahead and cover it with foil and stick it in your freezer, and it will last 3 months in your freezer. When you're going to eat it, just pull it out the day before, let it thaw out in your refrigerator. And then the day you're going to eat it, pull it out of the refrigerator for about an hour and stick it in your oven or however you're going to heat it up, 400 degrees for 30 minutes. I am going to do that right now, 400 degrees for 30 minutes. And make sure you cook it uncovered. Okay, here it is fully cooked and heated up, and I'm going to lift it up for you since, again, I don't have the overhead camera set up yet, but I want you to see those peaks I was talking about with doing with your fork, if I don't burn myself. If you can see, they just look beautiful, those little peaks. They got nice and brown. Okay, now normally I would let it sit for about 10 minutes or so before I serve it up, but I'm too anxious to taste it. So here we go. Let me give it a big old scoop. Look at those potatoes. Oh my gosh, they're perfect. Really, if it was just potatoes, I'd be happy. And you can see the ground beef and the veggies. And this is a perfect meal for when you're sitting around at the campsite or the campfire. You've already got it done. You heat it up, and here it is. And let me get my fork. Okay, you see these potatoes are perfect with that crispy top. You've got your ground beef that is seasoned and the veggies. Honestly, it's got everything. So thank you for joining me on the Spicy Apron Cooking Show. If you enjoyed this and plan on giving it a shot, please give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell when you subscribe, because that way you will be notified every time a new video comes out. Happy cooking, happy eating, and happy camping. This is comfort food.